Hello, good people. Glad you're here. Today is week one of phase one, workout number three, a bunch of strength extras basically. Now, unfortunately, today we're running low on time, so we left a few things out, but I believe we still got some good work in. The meat and potatoes of today's workout are pull ups for strength and for hypertrophy, and also lunges with a quad focus. So you'll see a shortened position with the knee pushing forward over the toe and a more upright chest, reducing the hinge in the hips so that I don't use my glutes as much. But first, coffee. Kicking off the warm up, we've got 10 banded squats with a 25-pound kettlebell, and we're going to work in some forward leans, knee over toe, to improve our ankle dorsiflexion range of motion. Crucially important in any squat shape, which we're going to be touching a bit today in our lunges. I spend 3 to 5 seconds or 5 little oscillations in that knee over toe position. Left and right side. Then I take a moment at parallel or just above parallel to pause. And then explode upwards in a strong contraction, a strong concentric motion right there. Eccentric is the way down. I want to hit as low as I can in the bottom of that squat, chest up, feet forward, knees opening out, creating a strong arch in the foot. Spend 3 to 5 seconds, knee over toe, get a short pause at parallel, and then explode up. The pause is one of the most important parts of this to me. I'm using the extra weight of that kettlebell to help my body get into a great position there with the ankle joint. And then I'm using that pause to teach my body to be comfortable experiencing that much dorsiflexion. Taking the time to work on these positions in the warm-up is crucially important. Many of the exercises aren't going to access this deep of a squat range of motion. They're not going to really help me improve my dorsiflexion, or I'm not going to be focused on doing that. I'm going to be more focused on making sure I strengthen the right muscles. So I just want to make sure I take the time to touch some positions that I won't necessarily touch in the workout or in daily life. You know, the warm-up is a great opportunity to work on your mobility, access to certain positions, stability in those positions as well. Since there are no real, let's say, output goals, you're not trying to push as much weight as possible. You're really just trying to bring blood flow to your muscles. Like, that's the main goal of a warm-up. That's literally what a warm-up is, warming up the body. So it's a great time to play around with different positions and movements. Maybe even throw in a stretch or two if there's something that you really, really need to work on. You know, I've gone through a lot of phases with this part of exercising. There have been seasons where I've loaded down the warm-up and used it to carry every single mobility project I ever had, you know. But I realized that there were a lot of diminishing returns for the for the workout session itself. And also I ended up spending just way too much time on this beginning part. So over the years and over time, I've kind of tailored it down a little bit and made it a little more loose and focused on at least just touching some frontal plane, some side to side movement, some front and back movement, some up and down movement. So just holding the kettlebell right there in that front rack position is going to stimulate my shoulder muscles. It's going to force me to try to stabilize using my rotator cuff muscles and everything too. So that's enough. And if I were doing any heavy overhead pressing, then I would just press the dumbbell here and just warm up the delts and all the other muscles that stabilize too. All right, first exercise, I think I literally only did 2 today. We've got overhand or pronated grip pull-ups on the bar. So this one is the one more for volume, opposed to the ring pull-ups, which are to work on the false grip mostly. I'm really considering doing these with weight, so strapping something to me, but I don't really have a good apparatus for that yet. Maybe I'll do some ankle weights or something, because that's what I've got on hand, so that'll be pretty good. Besides, I can't do too many of these in a row already, so maybe I'll try to get to around 10 reps, and then we'll start to see if we can load it down. I want them to transfer more to strength than hypertrophy. So I completed 4 sets of this superset pair pull-ups into reverse lunges. And I noticed that these 2 exercises are way too fatiguing to pair with one another, especially in the rep ranges that I have being so high because the weights are so low here. Both of them require large masses of muscle in order to get done, and I find myself out of breath in the middle of this first lunge set, so on the first side here. And you can see me using that shortened lunge position in order to prioritize the quads, knee over toe a little bit more. But notice that my thigh is not exactly parallel with the ground. Just because I have long legs here, my knee touches before the thigh of that working leg really gets low. So what I was talking about in the beginning with the squats, it's important to do those knee over toe movements at a lower squat position so I can train my body to utilize that in a deeper range of motion. But about the exercise selection, I was talking about that in the last video too, how I noticed the fatigue levels were rising. You see me here taking a moment to catch my breath and contemplate my life choices. Always a good idea. I want to reiterate that I'm aware, obviously, really any supersetting makes that second exercise less efficient in terms of muscle growth and strength gains because you start dipping more into a different energy system that you use. But it doesn't mean you're not getting any strength and muscle building benefit out of it. It just means it's not the best. So I would rather trade off having optimal gains for having just a more efficient workout flow in terms of how much time I'm able to spend on this. I don't want to invest 2 whole hours into a session or something. And these single-sided exercises, single leg exercises especially, can really start to add up in terms of time. So what are we noticing here form-wise with the pull-ups? Well, my shoulders seem to be pretty high when I'm at the top of the pull-up. So we've got some overactive traps going on and an inability to depress the scapula through the pulling motion. Something else to work on. So we just did 6 reps there, but I think I could do more than that for sure. I must have been feeling pretty bad this day. You know, it's at the end of the week. Anything you do at the end of the week is always going to be a little bit lower output than the stuff that you prioritize at the beginning. So when you're working out, if you're creating your own workout or following something else, make sure that you put the things up front that you care about the most or that you want to improve at the most. even if it doesn't necessarily fit a good weak split. For example, something heavy legs right at the beginning and then something heavy legs right in the middle again. Well, if heavy legs is what you need to get better at, then put it first. To be specific, it's like the toss up between heavy squats and heavy deadlifts, for example. If you do deadlifts first, then your glutes are going to be fatigued for the squats. If you do squats first, then your glutes are going to be fatigued for the deadlifts. So really, just put the one that's most important in front, and let the rest follow. Now, if you find that you do it one way and it just doesn't work out for you, like you're really unable to perform well on the second exercise, flip it back around. One thing that's very important is learning how to be flexible, physically and strategically. I'm working with 32.5 pounds in each hand for those lunges, and it's definitely way too low. I could up that weight by a lot, and I don't know if I have enough weight, if I own enough weight in order to do that properly. Now, you see me exploding a lot from the bottom of these pull-ups. I'm working on the power for the first few reps, and then you'll see me slow it down to finish out with some strength. Once I notice a decrease in explosivity, we'll start to slow those reps down. Muscles build tension and fatigue. Slow eccentric. Oof, those are killer. Okay, back to the lunges again. Shorten position. I opted for a carry position with my lower body exercises. That is just holding the weights down by your sides. I learned a lot from on Instagram. His name is Every GD Dre. Adriel, I think it's Adriel Mays, working with kettlebells, that you can hold weights in lots of different positions and get tons of mobility and positional benefit out of it. So, for example, if I wanted to do these lunges and also work on some upper body mobility, I could hold a big weight up in front of me in a front rack position every lunge, do a halo around my head, and boom, you get some double work in right there. But we're just going to keep it simple to start, and then we'll start mixing it up later on as I start to require different size weights for each hand, and you'll see why when we get there. Lunges are looking good, a little inconsistent because I'm playing around with how far back do I really need to step this back leg, and how much of this should be just a single leg squat, and should I even do lunges in the first place or just single leg squats? So I think later on in the program, we're going to see that change a little bit. Oh, I lied. We did 3 exercises today. A couple sets of calf raises, and I remember now I didn't film all of them. For some reason, I just, I was too burnt or something. Who knows? I started these out with a handle in the hand. It's just 2.5 pounds per handle, but quickly learned that these are going to need my full concentration and full support of my hands. So we're going to put that weight down and just run it body weight. Obviously, I don't have very strong calves, and this right side is actually my best side, although it's my least mobile side too, on account of how tight my calves are. Tight, most of the time also equals strong, but not always. In this case, it does, but it also means weak in a lot of other cases. So you're doing that left side. Calf raises are the best in terms of your benefit whenever you can drop into a deeper than 90 degrees dorsiflexion. Dorsiflexion just means toes coming towards your shin. You'll hear me say that tons. So we're using the step here so we can drop the heel below the toes. Really crank into that angle. and we're going to hang out at the bottom of the stretch. So that's all we have today. Next week we start again new. Be good and stay strong, y'all, and peace be with you.